their free time, three peasant friends discuss their new ideology that has been rumored to take over.
Have you ever heard of the thing called Mao Zedong thought?
No, but a lot of people have been talking about it.
Wait, isn't that the Maoist ideology? You know, the ideology based on Mao Zedong's background?
Oh, you're right. It's based on Mao Zedong's background because I heard that this new ideology is different and will favor us for a change.
Why and how is it going to favor us for change?
Because Mao was born into a middle-ranking peasant family, and family like ours. So he knows how foreign influence brings humiliation to us, and can relate to what we go through.
Mao and a few of his teenage friends during the 1911 revolution.
Hey guys, you know how there's a revolution going on right now? Don't you think we should volunteer as soldiers?
What are you, crazy? We can die, and I'm too young to die. I haven't even been successful yet.
Yes, everyone living the future.
That's fine, I guess. But I'm going to do it because I think that it's going to be very rewarding.
Wow, you're very courageous. We wish you the best of luck, and please be careful.
Thanks guys, I will, don't worry.
Mao volunteered as a soldier in the 1911 revolution. He made some good friends with his fellow volunteer soldiers. It's been several months since the first day. Mao and his friends gathered around for lunch.
How do you like your time here?
I honestly love it. I like the fact that I am helping because I think that it is better to help them than just sit around and wait for something to happen. Know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Warlords took over the revolution. Years after the revolution in 1913, Mao trained as a teacher. Mao and his fellow teacher gathered to discuss content.
Have you ever heard of this teacher, Yang Cheng-ji? I came in contact with him a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yes. He spent 6 years in Japan and in 4 in Britain, right?
Yes. Did you know he rejects Confucianism? Isn't that totally absurd?
These students sitting at the next library reading table, updating the
Doibuchi, but what exactly is Confucianism? I have an exam next period and I have no idea.
Confucianism is a complex system of moral, philosophical, and political thinking developed by the philosopher Confucius. It was also a system where individuals were encouraged to devote their lives to the achievement of moral perfection.
Share.
I have no idea how he can reject such ideology. But then again, I am on the biased side, as Confucianism surrounded every young boy.
Well, I think that was the case for most of us. Wait, before you go, is that true that Yang Cheng-ji is a contributor to the periodical New Youth?
Yes, it is. It even spread as far out to influence Western ideas. And Yang Cheng-ji also introduced me to the work of Mary Fu.
Isn't that the scholar who has stressed the need for strong leadership to bring change to China?
Yes, it is. Yang Fu also saw the need of change to Wang Fu-zhi, believed that there isn't a single part of human nature already shaped that cannot be modified.
A few years later, Mao became increasingly concerned with the future of his country and read many Western works, including those of Montesquieu, Adam Smith, Charles Darwin, J.S. Mill, and Herbert Spencer. Mao was convinced that his solution to the future of China would need to be a military one. Before 1918, he lacked a mature political intelligence. Mao later said, "My mind was a curious mixture of ideas of liberalism, democratic reformism, and utopianism." Mao and his fellow teachers discussed
My mind is a curious mixture of ideas of liberalism, democratic reformism, and utopian socialism. That's why I think I should be moved to Beijing University, where I will be able to work as the librarian Li Dajiao.
Why Beijing University?
Because Beijing University has become a focus for Marxist studies, which has been really of interest to me lately.
Great, I am happy for you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Just before Mao's arrival, Li Dajiao published an article on the victory of Bolshevism and encouraged Marxist discussion in his room known as the Red Sheet. This is where Mao developed his beliefs in the masses and a source of energy that could transform China. Mao pursued his Marxist studies in Beijing in late 1919 and subsequently in Shanghai. Mao formed a communist group in Shanxi in 1920 and attended the first CCP Congress in July 1921 and joined the Central Committee in 19. Three peasants discussed the new doings of Mao Zedong in Beijing.
Have you guys heard?
Heard what?
During his time at Beijing University, Mao believed that the peasants were the leaders of the revolution, so he worked in the newly developed GMD.
Why is it the newly developed?
It's newly developed because it had the Peasant Movement Training Institute.
Wow, I guess you are right. Mao's ideology really will be better for us because he actually cares for our well-being.
Mao increasingly formulated his new ideology, believing a vigorous organization of the peasantry under communist leadership and a radical land policy were needed. Mao believed that a revolutionary impulsivity had been avoided, and developed tactic ideas in the need for a base area, organized military forces, and guerrillas. Teachers discussed their understanding of the Maoist ideology.
I now understand why Mao wanted to move Beijing University, because I now understand his ideology after this long march.
You are totally right. I now understand the basis of his whole thought process.
Yeah, because his ideology is like an adaptation of Marxist-Leninism.
And he has also encouraged voluntarism, mass mobilization, and self-criticism.
Wait, what is voluntarism and mass mobilization?
Voluntarism refers to individual willingness to accept and share the same beliefs as those of the community in which they live. It also involves freely renouncing past evils, re-education, and remarking in the communist image. And mass mobilization refers to everyone working together to decide on and carry out policies.
What were the key elements of Mao's thought?
I guess the key elements are mainly the orthodox Marxist beliefs and the specific Chinese elements.
What elements are really in the orthodox Marxist?
I would say the Marxist revolution.
What is that exactly?
Marxist revolution really is progress through class struggle like the landowners and bourgeoisie being overthrown, which then led to the dictatorship of the proletariat or even the masses.
Is the Marxist revolution the only element of orthodox Marxism?
Yes, because it is also the progress that would include collective ownership of the means of production and the socialist states that should promote worldwide communist revolution.
What role does the specific Chinese play?
There would be the importance of the peasants, the two-stage revolution, the mass mobilization, and voluntarism, the continuous revolution, self-criticism, and reconciliation, the ruthless determination, and the supremacy of Mao Zedong thought. It's when the peasant masses overthrow capitalism and create a socialist society. It's the first revolution that incorporates elements of bourgeoisie, where stage private ownership will continue, and the second revolution brings corporatization and nationalization of property and economic resources, leading to new elements of bourgeoisie.
What is the mass mobilization of Marxism?
It's the fact that the campaign should be the people's campaign and not imposed from above. It is also probably guided that the people will support campaigns voluntarily and work in the best interests of all.
What is the continuous revolution?
It is a revolution that should not cease once a party achieves power and should be a constant process of renewal to avoid corruption.
What is the self-criticism and reconciliation?
It is the fact that officials should undergo regular criticism to prevent them from becoming self-satisfied, and enlist in regular purges of the party would keep it pure. And only through self-criticism that individuals see the wisdom of mass campaigns and rectify false thoughts.
What is the ruthless determination?
It is the willpower and determination that would be sufficient to bring about change and provided everyone should show total commitment. It is the violence that was a necessary element of revolution.
So far, I've been on this question. This thought situation of the new ideology. Final question. What is the primacy of the Mao Zedong thought?
It is all fine. It is the fact that Mao was always right and that people could find the solution to any problem if they studied his thought sufficiently.
Okay, thank you very much. You were great today. Have a great day.
No, thank you. Have a good day.
Mao's ideology proved to be a recipe for success in establishing his leadership and enabling him to assume power in China in 1949. How his ideology served Mao thereafter is more controversial. Three peasants discussing more of Mao Zedong's new doings. I really enjoyed the doings of Mao and his new ideology, but I heard a rumor that he clashed with other leaders. Other leaders like who? Oh, do you mean like Liu Shaoku? Because I think that I heard that too, and I also heard that they clash over the planning of the communist state. What do you mean over the planning of the communist state? I mean that they they clashed because Mao adopted a similar revolutionary approach to its construction as that of Liu Shaoku. Oh, okay, but I will always be on Mao's side of things because he actually is fighting for us for a change. Yes, I totally agree.
Long ago, before the rise of Mao Zedong, the nation of China started its internal battles between civilians and other European nations. After the 1912 revolution, leading to the end of the Qing dynasty and the formation of the Republic of Ming.
Freedom and democracy is not in my book.
Soon with the rise of the James paper by Sun Yat-sen,
Freedom and democracy! Freedom and democracy!
Mao later created the Chinese Communist Party to promote Communist ideology and Marxist ideas. The interest of the communists grew rapidly after the return of the Treaty of Versailles along with the establishment of the Marxist-Communist movement.
We are not going down without a fight.
Let the war begin!
People Political Conference met in September 1949.
So, what do we have here?
We are the ethnic minorities of China.
Okay, I'm not really sure what you were saying, but next.
We are the bureaucratic capitalists and...
Say no more. Blacklisted. I almost forgot to say, since it's 1949, there is no need for the vestiges of Western capitalism to be left here. I must have a united control.
In order for you to do so, I require that we get at least some autonomy. You have already won in Korea. Let us be open to live.
Ha! No. Starting in 1950, I will grant you some autonomy, and this is a promise.
2 weeks passed.
It is time for your evaluation.
We are the people of China, and things have gotten increasingly better for our people. Inflation was curbed, crime and corruption were checked. We have these things called party cadres that help us become the new China. We've gotten a stable income as part of our Daoling, or work group, and there are several other units that help with all facets of new Chinese life.
I am even a part of the National Loan Association and get free basic medical care from the new barefoot doctors. A new method to ensure that the people are loyal to my crown. Oh, I mean the Communist Party. That was close. It is going to be something called mobilization campaigns. The first is going to be against foreigners. The second is going to take care of the traitors and counter-revolutionaries. The third is going to go against waste and corruption. And the last is going against all the vices of the capitalist world.
Mao was dedicated to turning China into a leading world power. He believed this would happen by spreading Marxism in China. Mao wanted to rebuild the damage done by the Civil War, and without national capitalism, private land ownership was put to an end, helping revive the economy.
Mao's economic plan. For the economic plan of the future, Mao believed China should be governed by collective ownership of the means of production, meaning the nationalization of industry and collective farming. There was a strong need to rebuild after the war. He believed China would need to increase capital by reducing foreign imports and increasing exports. Land reform, June 1950. One of Mao's leading reforms was to fix the injustices involving land. He wanted the peasants to lead the land reform since it affected them so much, and used a lot of propaganda to help gain their support. He had the party cadres stir up the public using catchphrases such as, "Dig the bitter roots, vomit the bitter waters." These slogans and riling of the people got the public to turn against their landlords and to demand change in the unfair system they had been accustomed to for years. The landlords were eventually put on trial. They lost their civil rights, land, animals, and goods, all of which was given to the poorer peasants in their area. This movement inspired peasants to farm land cooperatively. Profit was distributed based on what a peasant contributed. The result from Mao's land reforms was grain production increased 10%. However, it did not stop there. In 1955, Mao introduced the APC, Agricultural Producers Cooperatives Plan. The plan was to pool land together and no longer allow land to be privately owned. Rich peasants were excluded from this plan, so they could not farm collectively. Again, profit was distributed based on the work of the peasant. Mao strongly supported the APC, and there was little opposition to the movement. 90% of the peasants' families were incorporated into an APCs.
Great Leap Forward / collectivization. By 1957, agricultural outgrew 5%, but Mao wanted to see a bigger growth for China. Mao believed larger communes would be more efficient by agricultural growth. Mao started a plan called the Great Leap Forward. He set up 70,000 communes, which was further divided into 750,000 brigades. Each brigade represented 250 families. Private farming completely stopped. Mao introduced a special co-op project, irrigation, flood control, electricity, and road buildings. Each commune contained a number of small factories where women and children worked. Mao endorsed campaigns such as the Four Pest Campaign, which outlawed flies, rats, mosquitoes, and sparrows, the main predators of Chinese agriculture. However, there was an emphasis on grain production, but no focus on agriculture. Overall, communal farming failed. Some peasants were too involved in industry since propaganda made them think grain was plentiful.
Communism to industry. Mao enforced communist beliefs on everything in China, including industry. The state took ownership of heavy industry and banking system. Wages and prices became regulated. However, even with the changes, 20% of heavy industry and 60% of light industry was still privately owned. China needed the help of foreign aid, so Mao accepted the USSR's aid. In February 1950, the Sino-Soviet Friendship Treaty was signed, and China received a loan of $300 million. In addition, 28,000 Chinese people were trained by the USSR. The value of Chinese output doubled, and 300 industrial plants were planned. First 5-year plan. The first 5-year plan began in 1953 and ended national capitalism in China. Within the first 2 years, all private industries and businesses were nationalized. Mao wanted to speed up industrial growth in China and therefore put a focus on iron and steel production, transportation, communications, and machinery. Iron and steel mills were set up in former small market towns, and roads and railways were built. Factories and mines in the northeast were developed and helped expand industry further. Heavy industrial output tripled and light industry rose 70%. For the first time, China was able to produce cars, tractors, cargo ships, and penicillin, and the urban population grew to 100 million by 1953. The Communist Youth Association. The Communist Youth League in China was run by Liu Hao and consisted of people aged 14 to 28, and also had a subsection called the Youth Pioneers, which consisted of kids aged 6 to 14. These students heavily criticized the regime during the 100 Flowers campaign that began in 1956. After this campaign, the Cultural Revolution aimed to fix the minds of the youth and give them a more revolutionary mindset. This began the formation of the Red Guard for the older kids and the Little Red Guards for the younger ones. By 1966, Mao had a major influence on the youth. They took to the streets banging gongs and shooting slogans, and traveled throughout China in an attempt to spread the revolution and destroy old culture. They destroyed people's processions, they invaded houses, and they forced people to wear gray Maoist pants and tunics. Teachers were forced to talk through the streets while being spit on and insulted. Eventually, the situation got out of hand, and Mao used the People's Liberation Army to break up the Red Guards units in 1968. Students were re-educated in the countryside, while universities saw an immense decline in the quality of education. Industrialization and Great Leap Forward. In May 1956, Mao delivered a speech called the 10 Great Relationships. This was his desire to abandon Soviet model and to get China to become its own world power. Mao wanted to combine agriculture and industry. Mao introduced SOEs, state-owned enterprises, which made all industry under control of the state, which with state subsidies, fixed rates of pay conditions, and output targets. By 1950, 90 million peasants became involved in steel industry. This used popular slogans as forms of propaganda to spread the movement. Education. In 1949, most of China's population was illiterate. Only 20% of children went to school, and the number of female students attending was almost non-existent. The CCP made it their goal to increase literacy rates and expand education. Schools were set up for almost all children. Night schools and study groups were created, and the Little Teacher program began. This consisted of children visiting adult peasants and sharing their learning with them. By 1964, Simplified Chinese was approved by the People's Congress, and China now had a standardized form of writing, Mandarin. At first, secondary schooling expanded due to help from teachers and textbooks. From the Soviet Union, however, the help stopped after the Sino-Soviet split. The deterioration of relations between China and the Soviet Union. New Chinese textbooks were created, and foreign languages were only studied in Malay translations of literature. Students were also expected to spend time working on field and in factories. In the 1960s, peasants and industrial workers became teachers, and the students were encouraged to criticize the teachers for unacceptable political statements and or failing to help others grade work properly. Through these experiments, literacy rates increased and reached 70% of the population by 1976. And also by 1976, 96% of children were in school. Some major problems still existed in the education system. Education was not free, the quality varied, and indoctrination became the center of most schools. Additionally, during the Cultural Revolution, most schools were closed down.